I did it. I lost the 80 pounds that I'd been carrying for years. And I thought that was it. I thought I was going to be free to live my life happily, but no, it wasn't over. Losing 80 pounds was only step one. My body was lighter, but what I discovered was there was this psychological script, like a program running deep in my brain that wasn't mine. It was a script that created that intense, uncontrollable energy, you know, that craving that keeps us coming back for more, even when we know we shouldn't, even when we know this is bad for us. That that uncontrolled that script had been keeping me trapped for decades. And guess what? It's the same script that's keeping you stuck. Second guessing your every move. What should I eat? Is this okay to eat? Um, uh, that feeling, that weight loss is impossible that you have. It's time to expose that script, who wrote it, and how to delete it, how to get it out of our head forever. Because the true transformation that's going to happen in your life happens when you're in control of your decisions. If you're new here, I'm Violet. I make these videos because 8 years ago, I learned that the food I thought was healthy was actually the food that was causing my weight gain and my poor health. So I'm sharing what I learned so that you have a chance to get your health back. So years ago, I felt stuck. I had an extra 80 pounds on me. I was trying to eat healthy. I was failing miserably, by the way. Now, my self-esteem was very good, though. Like, I was really proud of the work I did, the parent I was, like the person that I was in the world. I was proud of that. But my self-confidence was taking a beating. I was failing at taking care of myself, right? I was nowhere near in control of my eating. I didn't know how to do it properly to be healthy. I didn't trust myself around food, around junk food. Let me be specific. I didn't trust myself around chocolate. Put chocolate in front of me, it was a bad situation. I didn't know how to say no to chocolate, which is crazy. I have a kid. I say no to my kid all the time. I work and I do all kinds of, but I couldn't say no to chocolate. So my self confidence. So when I started keto, the first thing that happened within days of starting my keto lifestyle was that it exposed that I had a sugar addiction. And I started to understand why I actually couldn't stay in control of the foods that I was trying to eat. Right? Even when I was trying to be good, my sugar addiction would kick in and I would eat off plan. So right away understood that there was something else going on. So this script that I'm telling you about, that is when I figured out, no, there's something else deep in here that's wrong. So when I went through withdrawal, which is how I figured this out, right? Because about day three-ish, started to find myself like really wanting to eat things that I normally don't want to eat. I don't care at all about fruit. Never have, still don't. But yet, when I was in that moment, because I had taken all the bread out of my diet, I wasn't eating any junk food. I wasn't eating rice, potatoes. So for 3 days, I had eaten very low glycemic vegetables and meat. And I was scouring my kitchen looking for fruit, first of all, but at the same time, not wanting to eat it because I knew that that was high in sugar. And what I had just learned was that the sugar in my diet was causing my health and weight problems. Wellness warrior. Because of the work that I do, I right away understood that I was living through withdrawal. That fixated, focused thing that we see people do. For example, if you're a drinker, wanting to drink things like mouthwash. It's not the typical drink of choice. I was doing that. And it really opened my eyes to what had actually been happening to me and what was going on in my head. And the only thing that I had removed up to that point was high carbohydrate food. Still eating the meats that I normally ate, still spicing them the same way. The only thing were the side dishes were different for 3 days in a row. Have you ever been around a drinker who hadn't had a drink for 3 days? They're not fun to be around. They're not fun to be around. It was obvious to me what was happening. And so I now understood that little thing that we were warned about. I did see a few videos about this keto flu idea. Keto flu is withdrawal. Withdrawal means you have an addiction. It is impossible. It's impossible to have withdrawal if you weren't addicted to something. That script that was sewn into my head, that's been sewn into all of your heads, was sewn in there by companies that want us to overeat their foolishness. I'm saying a big thing right now. I'm giving it to you up front at the beginning of the video because I know not everybody's going to make it to the end. I want you to understand what's happening. Back in the 70s, food companies hired a dude named Howard Mouskowitz. He's a scientist. And they hired him to discover the perfect combination of salt, sugar, and fat that would cause people to not be able to stop eating their product. They called that perfect point the bliss point. That's the point at which food tastes so delicious, you don't just eat it, you overeat it. I'm compelled to eat their foods, and then I blame myself for eating their foods and being overweight because I should have willpower, right? Oh no, it's because I'm not aware the foods were engineered to be overeaten. And therefore, my health actually continues to suffer. I'm gaining weight. I'm getting sicker because your body is just getting assaulted with all the sugar, seed oils, and chemicals in the processed food. Okay, let me back a bit. 8 years ago, I learned that eating the healthy food, so the fruits, the vegetables, you know how they tell us eat like 5 to 8 servings of fruits and vegetables? So those healthy foods, eating that healthy stuff, what I learned causes us to crave the junk food. Yeah. Eating the healthy fruits and vegetables keeps a steady flow of sugar, carbohydrates. Sugar and carbohydrates are two words for the same stuff. Even on the packagings of your stuff, when you see sugar and you see carbohydrates and they're splitting into, don't believe them, they're the same thing. Okay. That steady flow of carbohydrates that's coming into my body is priming me. It's keeping me ready and willing and looking forward to eating the cookies, the ice cream, the chocolate that I love to eat. Every fruit, vegetable, grain, salad feeds that constant stream of sugar into our brain, right? Because that's where it's happening. Your brain is building this addiction to the foods, so the things we're calling food. The things we're calling food, right? Because food is meat, fish, poultry, eggs. That's food. Okay. So those sugars allow our brain to release more dopamine so easily and quickly and sustainably than the normal things that would usually get our dopamine to be released. right? Because dopamine is released in other ways. When you do great activities, when you're excited for these, like normal activities release dopamine, but at nowhere near the rate of the stupid stuff that we eat. They just pump it out. So our brain actually gets hijacked by the sugar, no matter what source it's coming from. So the healthy fruits and vegetables and grains, blah, 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 or the cookies and ice cream and chocolate, blah, blah, the chocolate that was getting me, right? Regardless of the source. So even if you avoid junk food for a week, right, and you're doing super good, you're still eating a bunch of sugar in your rice, potatoes, pasta, apples, bananas, right? We are still getting fatter and sicker. We're confused. We don't understand. I'm doing everything that the doctor told me to do. Why aren't I losing weight? You even add gym workouts to this because you're going to make sure that you do it. And you're still getting weight on year after year. You're still getting sicker and sicker. By the time I was 46, wellness warrior, the pain in my joints was excruciating. And you know what that does to us? When we are doing everything we are told to do and it's not working, it just makes us want to quit, right? Why am I not eating the fun stuff if I'm still gaining weight and I'm still feeling horrible? What is the point of all of the? And sometimes we quit, right? We either give up on our diets altogether or we sometimes just let some junk food back in once in a blue moon because, right? It's okay. I'm gaining weight anyways. Every time we run the script of eating healthy food, the script that's in our head that's connected to this addiction thing and the all the stuff, every time we let that script run in our head that says that this is a normal way to eat and it's fueling this addiction that's deep in my brain that's causing me to eat unhealthy. The un the healthy foods walk us towards the unhealthy food. They solidify that we will eat company junk forever. And that's what was happening to me. No matter what I did, no matter how hard I tried, I was gaining weight. So eventually I just said, well, why am I doing this to myself? Might as well just eat the chocolate, right? And then I accelerated the process, right? Because I was just letting chocolate in now, like I was eating chocolate every day. It's like, what's the point? Why am I depriving myself, right? Feeling out of control with food is not a moral failing. I'm not telling you my story because I'm a bad person. I'm not a bad person. I'm telling you my story because I know that there's so many of you out there living my story. Why torture myself when I'm gaining weight anyway? This is not a moral failing. It's not a lack of willpower. It's actually a brilliantly designed psychological program doing exactly what it was built to do. I wasn't weak. Neither are you. But I was carrying 80 extra pounds worth of evidence that the script was controlling me. It was working. It was doing what it was supposed to do. I was eating the stuff. Fighting the script and eating unprocessed keto foods deleted the script out of my head, right? Because it allowed me to see what was happening, right? Like that, those first few days where I was fighting myself and I finally saw it, right? There's more to this than just I like a chocolate bar. I wasn't in control. I had taken a decision and then I wasn't able to follow through because I took rice away, because I took pasta away. I was still eating vegetables. It didn't make sense until I realized it made a bunch of sense, right? The addiction was screaming in my head. Wellness Warrior, within 5 months, I was at goal weight, right? But I need to get through those 2 days of fighting with my addiction. But I was at goal weight. That proved to me without a shadow of a doubt. That's when I started talking about it. Because once I got there, I knew without a shadow of a doubt that it was that program that was controlling me. I was not in control of what I was eating. Neither are you. And I learned that my body had been inflamed, which explained the 23 years of joint pain that I had that doctors were confused about. The doctors couldn't tell me why that was happening. Oh, maybe it's your sports. Maybe it's maybe it's because you're not walking. Oh, maybe you changed your shoes. You need inserts in your shoes. Everything that cost me money, they told me to do, and I did it. Doctors couldn't explain, but the food, when I changed it, right? I stopped eating the healthy fruit. I stopped eating the healthy vegetables, the grains, the pasta. I was no longer eating bread. I took all those things away, and guess what happened? My body healed. The joint pain gone. And by the way, the joint pain was gone after 3 months, not 5. So I was only 20 pounds weight lost, and my body felt normal, which, by the way, 60 pounds overweight for my height is still obese. So the doctor's statements, because some of them did say that, oh, it's the weight you're carrying. No, was not the weight I was carrying, because and just to put the story in context, I noticed that my joints weren't hurting anymore because Pat asked me a question at 20 pounds lost, which was 3 months later. I couldn't tell you really when they actually stopped hurting because they hadn't been hurting for a bit by that point. Like, he asked me because I was doing so much stuff, and he's like, I noticed that you don't have to take a break after doing stuff anymore. What's going on? You feeling better? You're feeling better, right? So I don't even know. Was it 2 months later? I don't know. That's when he thought to ask me the question. How do you how do you get the script out of your head? Right? I'm sure you're screaming to know. And if you're not asking me that question in the comments, I don't like you should have been asking that question. I'm going to tell you how that you're going to fight your addiction that you don't even know you have. So because you don't know you have this thing, how are you going to get rid of it? And this is how. Well, first of all, this is how you know you have it. Every single time you've ever tried to walk away from junk food, it pulled you back. There's not one person on this planet that doesn't know that junk food shouldn't be eaten, right? If you're eating cookies, ice cream, chips, candy as an adult, you know that you're out of control with food. That's step one. What you didn't know was that the bread, the pasta, all that stuff was feeding this addiction. I will give you credit for not knowing that because I didn't know that. So that's the part that you don't know. Well, so first of all, you can't fight a villain that you can't see. This is why this lie, this script that they implanted in our brain has been there for so long because we can't see it. So we don't know that that's what we should be fighting. The first part of this whole process isn't to just get rid of the script because you first have to see it. You need to be aware and honest with yourself, aware, that kind of aware, that you are not controlling what you eat. That when you tell yourself, I'm having this for supper, and then supper approaches and you're looking at it and you're not happy to eat it, there's something going on there. When you tell yourself that you're not eating cookies or chips or junk food anymore, and then you see them and you want to eat them, there's something going on there. So, step one, separate yourself from the addiction, right? The first thing you need to understand and really do and really say to yourself with clarity is that that voice in your head that says, just one bite, it's not going to hurt. We know the one bite hurts. You've had a hard day. You deserve this. How is eating junk food going to make my day better? What is it going to change from my actual day? Not a thing. You already ate one cookie. You might as well eat the whole sleeve. One, like, how does that make any sense? If one cookie is the actual serving, or maybe two, so if two cookies a serving and I had half a serving, then I actually did better than having the whole serving. Why would I punish myself by eating a sleeve? Because that's what you'd be doing. You'd be saying, hey, failure, you weren't supposed to touch it at all. So just eat the whole thing and show yourself what a failure. Why would I do that to myself, Wellness Warrior? This is the key. That voice in your head is not you. The voice in your head is coming from the addiction. It's the speak that compels us to eat the thing that isn't helping us because we are out of control. The moment that you see that the voice in your head isn't actually you, it starts losing its power, because now I'm realizing that that's an insert, that's an addition. I don't actually want to be doing that to myself. I'm doing it because I don't even know I'm doing it, because that voice has just been there. We have to keep in mind that we've been eating this way since when? Since we were small children, right? You're a good girl, here's a candy. You're a good girl, here's a purse of chocolate. You got 100% of your test, here's some ice cream. We've been doing this since we were small children. By saying no to the voice in my head, I actually opened the door to start starving it, right? I can starve it out. If you don't give the virus that's living in your head what it needs to run, it won't have the fuel to run. And the fuel that this virus is working off of, this crazy stupidity that's in your head that's taking control, the fuel that it runs off is sugar and processed foods, right? Because processed foods are full of salt, sugar, and fat, that trifecta combination that keeps you chasing. Even the healthy carbohydrates from fruits and high sugar vegetables and high sugar grains is still sugar, and so therefore still feeds the loop until you end up grabbing one of these things, right? The chocolate or the other, the crackers and cheese, until you grab the stupidity and end up eating the junk food anyway. Your battle plan: eat real food, unprocessed real food, right? So healthy, keto, carnivore, low carb, but unprocessed, actual food. Keep your sugar count as low as you possibly can, which would, in my opinion, there's zero reason that we ever have to eat fruit. Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. Nature's candy is exactly what it is, and candy is not healthy. So don't eat it. When you do this, you're actually starving the addictions, Wellness Warrior. You're getting rid of it. You are squashing it, and then you'll be able to throw it away. It's gone. This is the reframe, right? This isn't about deprivation. It's a reprogramming of your brain. You're teaching your brain what real food is. You're teaching your brain to stop chasing stuff that's causing the body to struggle, right? Your brain didn't want it in the first place. We got tricked into getting ourselves craving it, chasing it, longing after it. Sound familiar? Again, classic definition, right? So, addictions thrive in the dark. What we're actually doing is we're getting rid of that secret shame that addiction lives in, right? We're breaking the power that it has on us by grabbing it by the knees or the feet and dragging it out into the light where we can look at it in my house. You don't belong anywhere near me, right? When you actually pull it out and you see it and you hear the stupid voice, right? Just one. You can just start tomorrow, right? This isn't going to hurt you at all. When you see it and hear it at the same time, that's the moment that you start to take your control back, because you say, no, get out. I'm done. I had a physical transformation, right? Like, that was real. But that first few days, when I understood what was really happening, when I really could see that I'm eating so much carbohydrate so much sugar, right? That my brain is out of control. That piece of information is what helped me get through that withdrawal period, but then understand what I needed to do next. Because the only way that I've ever seen in the work that I do, ever seen someone actually walk away from whatever it was doing, drinking or using other stuff, the only way that I actually saw them walk away was to change their environment and the way they were thinking about what they were doing. I changed the food that I was buying for my house. Month number one, I told my daughter, "Hey, you're gonna have all your junk food at grandma's." She was 9 by that time, so she was eating junk, but not a lot. She didn't like it that much. And that was part of the problem. She would have a box of cookies or a chocolate bar, take a bite, walk away, and leave it there. And who ends up eating the rest of those things? I was. So for the first month, they were not in my house, right? I created a clean slate for myself because I knew that changing that environment is what I needed. And I did that for a month. I didn't need more than that because miraculously for me, but everybody's different. But I do think that 2 weeks of actually not touching anything to do with the thing that's in your brain and having you out of control, when you don't touch the substance for a full on 2 weeks, you've got some strength there. And considering that the substance is all around me, I didn't want to put myself in the position where for more than a month I wasn't around it because I understood it needed to come from me. I needed to be the one that said, that's not food. And that's what I started to do. That's not food. The real success isn't losing a dress size or being lighter on the scale. The real success is having a quiet mind, wellness warrior. It's walking down the junk food aisle at the grocery store and not caring at all, feeling nothing. There's no resistance, right? You're not resisting the stuff. You're not having willpower and, oh my God, I'm not going to pick it. No, you feel indifferent. When you're in control of your decisions, you look at that stuff and you understand it's not food. Real health is freedom, right? It's freedom from cravings. It's freedom from addiction. It's freedom. When you prioritize your health, your body's going to regulate its weight. It's just the way it works. A healthy body regulates its weight. So I want you to prioritize health over the taste of stupidity. I want you to prioritize health over being like everybody else. Oh, if I go out to eat, I have to eat what they're eating. No, you don't. You really don't. You don't have to eat what they're eating. You don't have to drink what they're drinking. No, you don't. What you do is be healthy for you because that's what's going to make you feel amazing. That's what's going to make your life happy. That's what your body is meant to do. When you feed it right, it gives you a healthy weight. When you feed it right, it gives you mental clarity. I was thinking so much better. When you feed it right, your body feels terrific. There's no joint pain. Your skin is great. When you feed it right, your body works better. Period. If you're ready to end your sugar addiction, I have a video that I linked in the description that you're going to watch next. It's going to help you with your cravings and just like, let's get started. There's also links to the Wellness Squad if you want support. We're meeting. We meet every other Monday. So next Monday we're meeting. It's a great place to come in, have a chat, get some good information in you. And you guys also, when you're in there, you can talk to each other every day, anytime, day or night. The squad is there for you to be able to talk to each other as well. And if you want coaching, I have coaching linked in the bottom too. I will work with you and help you to create this new mindset so that you can focus on getting your healthy body and therefore allowing your body to get to its correct weight. All those links are down below. And you can do it. It's about starting. Okay, let's see what kind of questions we have going on today. And I'm very happy that you all joined me here because this is a topic that it's been on my heart. You know, we just need to know what. Hi, Pat. Good morning. Nice to see that you were able to make it. We need to know how to improve, and this has been on my heart. I just wanted to share it with you guys. Good morning, Linda. So happy to have you here today. Mike Jr., I'm always happy when I see you in the comments. Nice to have you back. Glad I could be live on this live. As a wellness warrior who lost over 230 pounds. Am I reading that correctly? Congratulations. I can testify that it's by eating meat, eggs, and fasting that I finally lost weight. Decisions was the key. Yes, we have to take a decision. We have to know what we're aiming for. And and we need to be willing to commit to eating the healthy things, right? Meat and eggs, meat, fish, poultry, eggs, those are the healthy things. Any animal protein is going to help your body immensely. And if we just allow ourselves to understand that, how much better do we do? Mike, thank you so much for sharing that. That is that is incredible. I really appreciate you sharing that. Um, what do you do when, so hello, my chili pepper. What do you do when your good friend, knowing we are in keto, decided to specifically bake a 9-inch frangipani cake? Not frangipani, I'm not really sure what that is. Not once, but several times. So, my chili pepper, I hope today's video helped you to see where my friend cooking cake, buying chocolate, or any other thing that they're going to do. So, again, I want to point this out. I'm sitting here in front of not one, but two different types of chocolate. And I'm sitting here in front of crackers that I used to love to eat these things, Ritz crackers. The reason, and actually, I'm also sitting here in front of, now I didn't eat candy, but candy is a thing that people get triggered by. So these things that I'm sitting in front of, I can, and they're not open. They're never going to be opened by me anyway. If a little person came here and took it, they might have it. But the people in my house, well, my daughter doesn't care about that stuff. Oh, no, that's not true. My daughter might eat these. Chocolate, she's not the biggest fan, but she does eat it, but like whatever. So what's my point? Why am I showing you that? Because it's not about it being in front of me. It's about the decision that I've made that that's not food. So I also have these protein bars here. These protein bars are technically supposed to be okay for us to eat. It says that it has 20 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, 11 grams of fiber. Technically, that could fall within, especially since I'm carnivore. So that would be all my sugar for the day. This one too, it also says that that would be all my sugar for the day. So technically, could I eat those things? Yeah, sure I could, but I don't. Because why? Because they're processed food. So I'm sitting in front of temptation. They're not temptation for me, right? Why aren't they temptation for me? Because I took a decision. And every one of you, I want you to take a decision, because at the end of the day, this isn't about not. Oh, I changed the screen on. Sorry. At the end of the day, this isn't about yelling at your friend or saying no to your friend or being like, no, no, no. Like, I know that that's part of what we think we might need to do is tell our friends, oh, I can't eat that or whatever. They cooked a cake and they ask if you want a piece of it. No, thank you. And it should stop there. So the only time that I would say you have more to say to your friend is if you say no, thank you to the cake, and then um, instead of saying, okay, I got it, what your friend does is try to push an envelope. Try to say, well, you can have a small piece. Or I made this especially for you. No, you didn't. And if they try to pull that on you, I would call them out. No, you didn't. You made it for you. And now you're trying to get me to eat it with you because you don't want to ruin your health by yourself. I'm not going to do that. And as a matter of fact, if I'm a good friend, just like any other scenario where if I watch my good friend drinking too much, and every time I see them, they've they've been hitting it, and if I happen to catch them in a moment where they're not drinking, right? So you look kind of straight to me, and they're like, "Hey, do you want a drink?" I'm going to say no, even if I do drink, because I know clearly you have an issue. Why would I say yes and then we're going to both, I'm going to have one and you're going to have seven, and I've contributed to the So if I'm a good friend, even if you don't know I'm keto and you're like, "Hey, do you want me to make some blah blah blah?" Right? And I'll be like, "No, it's okay, it's fine. Don't worry yourself with it. I take care of myself first and foremost. I might help you out if I don't think you know better, but I'm not going to fight you on it. I'm going to say no. If you make some for yourself, I'm going to tell you go for it, because I don't control you. You don't control me. And my chili pepper, that's the most important thing that I need you to understand. They don't control you. And if they don't control you, there's nothing for you to worry about. They make cake, they make whatever. It's fine. I'm not really sure what that means, but I'm assuming then it's some kind of seeded something. So, and if it is, again, if you have some other place, another animal that could eat it safely, I'm not sure if birds can eat it safely, then that's something you could do for the birds. You say it's a very nice thought, but no thank you, or take it and bring it to the work. Yeah. Oh, so actually, when I clicked on that, that was a good thing to click on. Pat had answered you already. Let's see. Mike Jr. again is saying, I was eating junk, rice, pasta, cake, but I was miserable. I don't think it's enjoyable eating to have fun, because it's just temporary. And after you have to deal with yourself. So, Mike, thanks for pointing that part out. So many people, they feel like, we eat to feel better. We eat to take care of ourselves. But again, that's part of the programming. That's part of what we've been taught over the years. We see it in movies all the time. Somebody gets, there's a breakup scene, and all of a sudden, the woman is eating ice cream. Someone yells at you at work or whatever, you go back to your office or your desk and you're drinking. Like, we see this over and over and over again, that we're made to believe that we can put something in our mouth to solve something in the world. Unless you're trying to solve hunger or thirst, putting something in your mouth is not going to do it, first of all. But second of all, if you're trying to solve hunger, you need to eat real food, meat, fish, poultry, eggs. If you're trying to solve thirst, you need to drink water. That's what your body's actually asking for. Your body does not care at all about soda or fruit juice or these things that are coming with a high sugar content. Your body doesn't even care about coffee. It wants healthy, real food and water. uh Conversation between you guys. I did distribute some to the neighbors. Okay. Okay. Well, I didn't think they should be eating sugar bombs either. I agree with you. I mean, honestly, I will tell you that in the history of being myself, when people give me things that I don't want and like they're pushing it on me, I will. But personality is everything, right? My personality is not the same as yours. I will tell them straight up, if you give this to me, I'm going to walk out of here and I'm going to put it in the garbage. Or if they brought it to my house, I'll say, take it with you. If they say, no, no, it's for you. If you leave it here, I'm going to throw it in the garbage. And if they don't believe me, before they even leave, I'm going to toss it in the garbage, because I want them to understand, don't do that again. You're wasting food, right? And that's important for us to do. I want them to understand, don't waste your money, right? Like, I can afford to buy food to feed myself. And when I come to your house, I don't need to leave with a gift of food. Like, that's never something that I need, because especially if it's a gift of food that I'm not going to eat, I'm straight up telling you I'm going to throw it in the garbage, and I'm going to make sure that you understand I'm throwing it in the garbage, and then it's going to go in the garbage, because that's another thing that I don't do. If you give it to my daughter wants it, that's fine. If you ask my daughter that she wanted it, she wasn't there, and you asked me to bring it for her, and she really wanted it, I will bring it for her. I don't control her. She's an adult. If she wants to eat that, that's fine. But if you send it to my house for me, you're sending it to my house from my garbage can, and why would I do that to my garbage can? My garbage is going to be full enough. You can put it in your garbage can, or you guys can eat it, because I know you eat that stuff. So I hope that helps clarify, because I don't want you to feel bad either. Like, why giving it to your neighbors if giving it to your neighbors makes you feel bad, right? It's not food. Throwing it away is fine. We throw away things that are broken all the time. And that's they got to do a science experiment. They made a fun looking thing. And then, now it's done and you throw it in the garbage. And that's fine. I hope that makes sense. I won't even go into how far off the wagon I've fallen. Hi, Singing. I'm sorry to hear that. I've done this, gotten health, lost weight, but it goes dormant. Not goes away. How do I get the why back in the fight? Okay. You know what to do. You've done it before. This isn't about why. This is about not understanding and truly being honest with ourselves that there is an addiction there. And so, what I guess from what you're telling me is that you touched something, maybe during a holiday or something, you touched something and got pulled back in. But I want you to really think about any people that you knew that had drinking problems, any people that you knew that had other substance problems, any people that you knew that maybe had gambling problems. As soon as they touch the thing, even when it comes to gambling, like they can't even play cards without like getting overly like crushed if they lose, right? We need to be honest with ourselves. If we touch the thing, we will get pulled back in. And this, like, it's not strictly about how much sugar. It's about taste of sweet. For myself, I was doing extremely well for the longest time back when I was doing keto, but I still had nuts in my diet. Totally fine. I could eat a serving of nuts as like at an end of meal. I was never doing it as dessert because I knew that when my eating time frame was my eating time frame. So everything that I ate at supper was supper and I didn't eat after supper, right? But what I started to notice was that I was overeating nuts. And when I actually paid attention, Sing it, what I realized, the nuts tasted sweet. And that little bit of carbohydrate in the nuts was getting me. And I was chasing. I was chasing. So I didn't even realize that I, like, I didn't realize that the amount of sugar in a nut could be tasted. But then it all made sense at the end because when your palate retrains on real food, yes, I'm going to start to taste the sugar in these not real foods. Meat, fish, poultry, eggs. I can't say it enough times. That is real food. So everything else we're eating, carbohydrates are in there. Now I haven't had carbohydrates in ages. Like even my meat is spiced with salt only. So there's a question mark in my mind. If I were to chew on some lettuce, for example, would it taste sweet to me? Like that's a real question that I might test somewhere down the road. I'm too focused right now on getting my health to the absolute healthiest spot that I can, and I know that that takes 20 years. So I'm not putting any silliness in my way. But I'll tell you, I'm super curious to know if at one point in time, will things like lettuce that most people feel taste so bland, will that taste sweet to me? But the fact that nuts did, and it wasn't just cashews, it happened with cashews, it happened with pistachios, peanuts, I could taste the sweet in them. Like these things that never before tasted sweet to me were tasting sweet to me. And so I took them off my radar because why? Because yes, sugar will trigger your brain and your cravings will be back on, but so does the taste of sweet because your body is looking for that. Incoming sugar is a sign to your body that danger is coming, right? And so it's on high alert for that. So that, Sing it, might be part of the issue. So What I'm saying, when you resume keto, and I'm assuming that maybe you have or you're about to, focus there. You need to get through your withdrawal. And you know what? Like normally I tell people, oh, do whatever makes sense to you. Slowly taper down or go straight in and like live the withdrawal if you can manage it. I don't know how you did it the first time, but I'm kind of guessing maybe you did a slow taper. I honestly feel that if you just say, today's the day, and just stop eating carbohydrates. So, not stop, but go down to 20 grams. Like actually track and just go down to 20. Only healthy things. And you do that immediately. My guess is that you will live withdrawal. And I feel like that will be the solidification that you needed to see that this is real. I actually wasn't in control. I'll tell you that I still, to this day, thank the fact that I went through withdrawal and the fact that I have violet syndrome, which is when I eat anything too high in carb, my joints flare up immediately. Those two things have helped me because the withdrawal helped me to see that, yes, I had an actual problem happening. This wasn't I like chocolate story. This was I don't know how to not eat it story. But two, that pain that would come back if I was a gram over helped me to see how absolutely toxic this stuff was, that my body was reacting that swiftly, saying, stop it, don't do that, right? My inflammation was flying back and hitting me. So I think that if you tapered, even if you didn't taper, this time around, you need to remind yourself why you're doing this. And I would go from standard or wherever you are now, if you're not at standard, wherever you are now, and I would just go to 20. I would track everything. I would only cook healthy things. I would track everything. If need be, I would stay away from going out for 2 weeks, right? Homework, that's it. I wouldn't eat with my coworkers at work for those 2 weeks. I would focus and I would make certain that I only eat on plan. I will admit that I was lucky because when I did my keto lifestyle, I was already working for myself in my own office. So not eating with other people at lunchtime was absolutely doable. No problem. So that was easy for me. But if it means that you go to your office and eat in your office and you don't eat with everybody else for 2 weeks, I think it's an appropriate trade. And I'm saying 2 weeks because it took me 2 weeks to get to the point where I could eat on plan, no problem. I wasn't tempted by what I saw other people eating. I wasn't feeling jealous. But again, that was because I had just lived through withdrawal and I knew full well that if I touched any of that stuff, I'd have been back in. So even for my suppers, when I went out to supper with friends and family, I didn't care. I knew what that food would do to me. I do think for some people, you need to actually live that withdrawal to truly understand that you're not in control. Please sing it. Come back and let me know what happens from this conversation. And as a matter of fact, I'm encouraging you again. If you want to go down and check the squad and the yeah the to join the squad, I'm doing a great deal right now on the meetings that we're having. I really think that it would be worth your while. Come join us, have a chat, and get your life back. And that the deal is going on for everybody. If you haven't joined yet, you should come and join. If you haven't joined but you were thinking of joining is what I meant to say. Come and join us. Pat. I know it can be hard sometimes, but your health is more important than your friends' feelings. Thank you for sharing that. I know my why, but it's not strong enough to get me back on track. Yep. Guess I got yeah. I like so you like the person who drinks too much will always be that. Yeah. I guess that's the first step, honestly. Yeah, it is the first step. We need to face what's important. Am I giving away 1, 2, 20 years of my life for a fun flavor, a fun taste, a buzz? Like, does it make sense to give away 20 years of my life for that? In that 20 years, I could have fun climbing, skating, boarding, like riding my bike, right? Playing with grandchildren possibly. Like I could be doing so many more fun things, playing with my niece and nephews and well, nieces and nephews because I have more than one. Like I could be doing so many more fun things if I was focused on eating healthy than just the moment of fun that I get out of eating the poor quality thing. Doesn't make sense. Linda says, every day is a new beginning. Yep. So first, every day is a new beginning. Second, you've done it before, you know it works, and so basically you do it again, right? Um, you can do it again. Relapse is a learning opportunity, not a failure. Linda, love that. Relapse is a learning opportunity, not a failure. I love that. I usually I say the same thing but a different. I don't usually say oh you got me thinking now, right? Oh yeah. I mean, if as long as I learn from a mistake, I'm okay making them. That's usually what I say, and both of them are great. If I'll say that too, like as long as you learn from your mistakes, then be okay making them, because sometimes you don't even know it would have been a mistake until you do it and realize, oh, okay, because how could I possibly have known, for example, that 18 grams of carbohydrate was the number, right? And it was by tracking that I at least was able to see that, every time I touch 18, I'm eating, my body is feeling horrible. So would I classify that as a mistake? No. But what I would say is that if I wasn't tracking, I wouldn't have known. And those times that I had some tomato, so I had some tomato in my guacamole, even though tomato is a high sugar fruit, I still, I would not have known to this day that I have a problem with nightshades had I not eliminated tomato. So if I had eliminated tomato from day one, because I needed to make the link between tomato and eggplant is allowed, right? It is a low sugar something. So having that tomato and knowing that potatoes had caused me an issue way back, even though I did know that that was too high in sugar, but I mean I had the smallest of small piece and still had a reaction. Making the link from the potato that wasn't enough to have caused me to have a reaction, right? It didn't put me over my numbers and yet I had a reaction. Then having eggplant and then having uh, tomato, that was how I actually made the link. And spicing with paprika, that was another thing. Like those things together. So if I didn't have tomato in there, it might have taken me longer to make the link to try to figure out what do all of those fruits and vegetables have in common and learn that they're nightshades. So it, like we are human, we are going to do things, we are going to think something is okay that's not okay, we're going to touch something that we, right? And what's most important is understanding that it's always about best health, right? I want you guys to have a North Star, right? Something to look at. I want you guys to have a beacon. You're running towards what? And it's good health, right? I want you to want good health. And because I want good health, then what happens? Do I eat things that are not food? No, right? That's why this stuff can be sitting on my desk. Food, I wouldn't eat that any more than I would eat this, right? This pen. I wouldn't eat this pen. It's not food. So why would I eat that? Like that is absolutely how I see this stuff. Whereas in the history of being me, that would have been seen as food, and if I was still considering it food, there might be a little bit of temptation, but there isn't because I no longer consider it food. Let's sing it. I really hope this is helping you because I want you to win. I want all of you to win. Every one of you that's watching this video, I want you to win. How many people are watching? All 21 of you watching this video right now. I want you to win. Sandy Brown, best not to have it. right? Or they keep pushing it every time. Yes, that is also true. If you say, oh, if you just take the little piece and you take a bite and go, "Ah, okay, I had a bite, thank you," then the next time you go, they're going to expect you to eat a square. And the next time they go, they're going to offer you seconds. And like saying no because saying, not even no, saying no, thank you, because you're prioritizing your health should make you proud. Saying no because you're prioritizing the future version of you that 20 years from now didn't have that toxin in you, right? Because it takes 20 years to get the toxins out. Do we even understand that? That I eat something today and potentially it's holding on to me for 20 years, because every part of us has a different turnover rate, right? Because your body isn't just rebuild you in a snap. It's not how this works, right? It's like renovating a house. You do it piece by piece. Your body is piece by piece rebuilding. And yes, something is being rebuilt every day, but then understand what that means. You bring in food. And if it's this stupidity, your body ends up incorporating some of that into you today. And then as you move forward and keep bringing that stuff in, highly processed, healthy food. This is so highly processed, healthy. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It's just putting more garbage into the body that you're trying to make healthy, but you're making it with garbage. That is a horrible way to build a body. So understanding that every time you say yes to them, we're encouraging them to offer us some more, first of all. But second of all, we're setting ourselves up to be building a worse quality version of ourselves. Saying no, thank you is the nicest thing you can do. And if they push, now we can start questioning their motives, right? Because it doesn't change my life at all. Sorry, it doesn't change your life at all if I don't eat a piece of cake. So what is the point of pushing it? Right? Sometimes we need to ask people hard questions. Are you trying to sabotage my weight loss? Are you jealous of my weight loss? What's happening here? Right? Why is it I say no thank you and yet you keep offering me the same piece of cake that I said no thank you to? And it's cake. I could understand if they were offering you vegetables that were high in sugar that you didn't want to eat and you say no and they don't understand. I could understand if they even offered you fruit that's high in sugar and you said no thank you and they didn't understand. But cake? No. On that one, I don't understand. And I'm pushing for you to not understand and to push a little harder and say, no, not doing that. I know someone who serves pork or other things to people who say they don't eat it. They usually have it because they love it. When they gone, she jeers. When they are gone, she jeers. So basically, they're cooking pork and calling it something else. And then, so what if I'm not eating pork because I have a religious reason for not eating pork? Or what if I'm not eating pork because I have a health reason for not eating pork? So again, that's a person that doesn't care about the people that they're feeding. Because if I have a religious reason or a health reason that you might not see and that I might not even realize in the moment, because I don't know what this, if you're telling me it's like, let's say let's say that you don't tell me that it's beef. Let's say you tell me that it's goat or lamb or some kind of meat that I don't normally cook for myself at home, and so I just don't know what it tastes like, but I have a real health reason for not eating pork, then yeah, you're you're the person could actively be poisoning this person because she thinks she knows better than them. I mean, honestly, I'll say that that's just a wicked person that not only would I not have in my life, I would tell the people who are eating what she is saying is not pork that it is pork, in fact, because that's not fair for them. If I was that person, I would tell them. And I wouldn't mind if you're mad at me. As I would tell everybody, because you're lying to people. So liars, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, do not get my protection. And if, especially if it's someone that I care about, that you're force feeding something that they said they don't want to eat to, oh my goodness. I'm not only just telling them, I'm gonna be screaming at you. But that is horrible. That person is not nice in any way. And I would actually say they're more than not nice. I would say that that person is selfish, mean, self-centered, and doesn't deserve to have people eating in their home. Yeah, I'm saying all those things because you've actually just eliminated those people's ability to take a decision for themselves whether or not they want to eat the food that you're putting in front of them. How selfish is that, right? That's ridiculous. And I'm actually quite angry and insulted for the people who've eaten at their home and been lied to. It's not a game, it's not a joke. This is real health things we're talking about here. They say that they don't eat it, but they gobble it up. Well, again, if you've lied to me about what this is and spiced the heck out of it so I can't tell, or told me it's something that I've never had before and I think, right? So am I gobbling it up? Would I go anywhere else and gobble it up? No, I would have not eaten it. And again, the person didn't say they don't like it. The wording that you're saying that they're using is very specific. They're saying they don't eat it. If I don't eat something, it's usually because either religious or health reason. I don't eat that, right? If I don't like something, I'm just going to say I don't like it, right? Like, for example, I have had many people offer me chocolate ice cream. I don't like chocolate ice cream. The chocolate doesn't taste real to me. I always hated chocolate ice cream. Chocolate and strawberry. Strawberry ice cream, again, does not taste like strawberries to me. I don't know how anybody eats strawberry ice cream and says that that tastes like strawberry. I know what strawberries taste like. I know what strawberry ice cream, they do not taste the same. Those two things, no matter how sweet, no matter how ice creamy they are, no matter what brand of ice cream it was, if it was strawberry or chocolate, I did not touch it because I didn't find it tasted good at all. So that would have been out of my mouth. I don't like story, but I don't eat ice cream now. It's not about whether I liked it or didn't like it. And by the way, in my very humble opinion, I couldn't have liked any of those things. The reason is you can't like something you're addicted to. And I want you to really just pause on that for 5 seconds while I'm swear and think about it. The drinker that says, I just like vodka. Really? Because when you're drinking mouthwash when nothing else is available, is that about liking mouthwash then? If you are addicted, you don't like it, you're compelled to have it, and therefore out of control, and therefore the word like does not apply. So, anyways, I'm going to change the topic because I'm actually getting angry. It just bothers me when people disrespect people in that way. That is an absolutely frustrating scenario to hear that happened. And you know what? I don't believe in veganism, but I would never tell someone that that was fake meat if it was real meat. You want to be vegan? Be vegan. Even though I know it's ruining your health, I still wouldn't trick you into eating meat or eggs or anything because it's not my place to change what you are doing. So that person is just disrespectful and it's really making me angry. I'm going to change topic. Funny, you said everything I said in the second comment. Thanks, Violet. Everyone started over today. Great. Thank you. I know withdrawal is coming. Have to always be on guard. I don't got this. I don't got this. Every day is a battle. Actually, what I want you to, maybe this will be a mindset shift. Sing it. I want you to look forward to the withdrawal. And I'm saying something really important here, but this is the mindset shift. When the withdrawal hits me and I realize that, okay, yeah, I'm thinking about cookies, it means my body is doing it. My body is kicking that thought process out, right? I'm fighting with myself. This is your moment. And by you getting through it, by you saying, not touching that stuff, so, and basically not falling for the, oh, I'll have an apple instead, right? To calm it. No, that feeds it. By not touching any of the sweet stuff that your brain is going to tell you, but this is okay, that's okay. Right? So by doing that for yourself, You in that moment, and for those days, because it's like a day or two that you might go through this, are saying no to the addiction and you're eliminating it out of your head. Now, be very careful that the things you eat also don't taste sweet. It's really important for us to understand the taste of sweet can also trigger us. But you can do the sing it. But don't be afraid. You know it's coming, right? We know that there will be a withdrawal period. Embrace it. Be ready for it. Say, here it is. Okay, now that means we've gotten to the part where my body actually has less sugar available, and it's telling me, oh, your sugar levels are low. That's what touching that withdrawal stuff. Once that starts happening, that's what that means. And you can be like, yes, okay, we're there, and you keep moving forward. So tracking is going to be your best friend. You have to, at the maximum, like you don't pass 20 any of the days. You don't pass 20. You track every single thing you eat. Like I said, I really hope I see you in the community. I hope you join, become a captain so that we can talk on Monday. Uh, have never caved to peer pressure. That makes me angry and makes me more determined. I am my own worst enemy at the moment. So this is all stuff that you touched on your own. Okay, thank you, Violet, for all you've helped with all these years. And now I will keep helping. This is I want to see a world where eating low carb, keto and carnivore and low carb is the norm across the world. Like that is, I mean, that's my ultimate goal. Like I want to be a part of that. But even this my short-term goal is I would love to know that I helped 1,000 people get this drilled into their head and they can do it without even thinking, without blinking, the way that I do it. I don't blink. Like there is never a moment where someone offers me something and I look at it and it's in the form of vegetation that I think I'm curious what that tastes like. That's gone from my mind now. It doesn't exist anymore. And the way that that gets solidified is every day away from the bad food you are is a day towards this healthy mindset being that much more solid, right? We all started at the same place because none of us were aware that the fruits, vegetables, grains, seeds, nuts, like all this stuff, the healthy pastas, right? That these things were causing problems. Even stuff like this. Like we weren't aware that putting these sauces on our meats was causing our meats to be a craving center in our head, right? We had no idea. I mean, there are restaurants here in Canada, in Montreal, especially. There was this one called the Barbie Barn that I used to go to when I worked for the company that I used to work for. And I started going to that restaurant just because the ladies there would go there like once a month, they would go to that restaurant. Oh my goodness, the ribs. If you think ribs at a normal restaurant are sweet, the ribs at a Barbie Barn are like when you touch them, like when you touch taffy, how you can, if it's like really fresh taffy, you can kind of pull and it will have a string going to the. You could do that with the sauce on the Barbie Barn. It was ridiculous. The sweet level was break your brain sweet, and so I remember like we would go there and like it tasted delicious, obviously, right? But what, wow, was it adding to my weight? Was it adding to my, it was adding to everything. This was a horrible thing for me to be having at lunch, at lunchtime. Like, but at the time I didn't know. We were thinking, oh, this is a great lunch. We have meat, we have fries, was the side dish was fries, a little bit of coleslaw. What a great lunch. What a healthy lunch we did. That wasn't healthy at all. That was a bunch of garbage. But when you don't know, you don't know, right? Relapse is learning opportunity. It is from smart recovery. Fitting since I'm addicted to carbs. Okay. Smart recovery. Oh, cool. Thank you for letting me know that, Linda. Mandel, hi. I'm glad you're here. Always so happy when you're here to chat with us. A lot of names that from like when I first started streaming years ago. So like it's so fun to see people back. Not only, sorry, not into strawberry or chocolate. However, I enjoyed the cheap strawberry ice cream at the Chinese buffet. So you're not into strawberries and chocolate, like the real stuff, but you did like the ice cream. Well, you're the opposite of me. Um, Rainy today, day job not engaged. Glad I could catch the live. Well, I'm very happy to have you here, Mendel. Sugar on pork is worse than beer before liquor. Sick as a dog. Yeah, sugar. So you know what? I mean, sugar on pork. Like. I don't think that I ever had a problem with it going like before becoming keto, because barbecue sauce on burgers, barbecue sauce on grilled meats, and like I said, those ribs, they always seemed normal. All of that stuff seemed normal, and all of this stuff is sugary. Like even this is the garlic flavor, but even the regular flavor, when you look at the carb count on that stuff, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So there's way too much sugar in that stuff, but we don't know, and so therefore we just not that, I mean, we don't know. No, we don't know. The average person is absolutely unaware that they're taking in somewhere between 300 to 450 grams of sugar a day in food, right? So, like the average person is not aware that an apple, medium size, is about 24 grams of carbohydrates, that a banana medium size is about 30, right? Like the average person will say, yeah, bananas, if they're ripe, are sweeter than apples, but they don't really put it together. A sweeter tasting banana, and even look, a kiwi is so small and it's a 20-ish grams of carbohydrates. It's so much smaller than a banana and an apple, right? And it's so much more sugar in it. We don't even just make that connection that the sweeter the fruit tastes, the more sugar is in it, right? And we give so much credence to this idea that, oh, but the fiber is going to help you. Your body breaks down so much of what they tell us is helping us that it doesn't help us. And anyway, sugar is a whole other conversation I could rant on forever. It looks to me like I'm about to click on the last comment. If you have something you want to say or you have a question you want to ask, this is the time to put it in there, because otherwise, hello, sing it once again. You skipped a comment. You asked how I started first time. Cold turkey. Okay. Some same this time, always all or nothing. Okay, so you had started cold turkey the first time. Thank you for clarifying that, because um so do it again. But I really feel like this time, sing it. What I want you to do is see that withdrawal for what it like. I want it to be part of the story that you help yourself to see, what am I willing to do? What's the work I am willing to do to get my health back? I'm willing to live through that, and I did. But then am I also willing to make sure that I protect myself? So I lived through that. It was hard. It doesn't feel good. And then what? Right? I don't reintroduce the foods that harmed me, because why? Because I know then living through that again isn't pleasant. So it's really, again, am I sacrificing everything that I did that was hard for 5 seconds of taste? There's a lot of questions that we could talk to ourselves about. Is like, is really having real conversations with myself, being honest and true. And the other important thing is, what are the actual things in my life that I'm not dealing with, that I'm then self-soothing with food over? And finding someone to talk that through with, right? Mandel says, I would eat a pound of sugar a day, about, okay, easy. But sugar on meat always disgusted me. I tolerated it on chicken a little, but it's just not for me. Yeah, I can say I tolerated it no, not even tolerated. I liked it on meat. I liked it on chicken, and I like chocolate straight. So, like, the thing that I didn't tolerate well was candy. Candy always made my mouth hurt. I could not do candy for some reason. It just hurt. So, can I say forever? I would say somewhere in my late 20s, candy started to hurt my mouth. And I just stopped eating it because honestly, I wasn't willing to hurt my mouth to eat something. Well, that's not even true. I would say M&Ms were the only candied thing. So M&Ms have a candy coating on the outside. And I did eat M&Ms, and I think the reason I was able to do that is because you chew M&Ms, so you don't suck on them. It was my tongue that was really hurting when I would eat candy, but M&Ms you don't suck on them, you chew them. So maybe that was why I was able to do that. Mandel says, I restarted without cheating because I stopped out of anger. So I restarted without cheating because I stopped out of anger. Negative food feeds negative emotions, and I was nursing anger. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I love that. Negative foods feed negative emotions, and I was nursing anger. Mandel, I love that statement. I'm probably gonna copy that one because I love that statement. That's very, very insightful of you, and I can hear the ministry coming out when you say that. I like, yes, we are so used to babying our emotions and not looking straight at them and answering what is causing me to feel the way that I'm feeling. And if we don't do that, well, we just end up staying stuck. We end up we end up not really fixing, changing, improving what it is that we want to fix, change, improve, right? And if we yeah, I love that. We have to take care of our health, right? You have to take care of our mind, our body, our everything. So yeah, I love that. That's good. I'm gonna keep. I'm actually gonna copy that. Okay, and Sing It agrees. Great. That's a great way to end this video. Down in the comment, sorry, down in the description. I lost my word. Down in the description, I have a video that's linked next for you guys to watch until this video gets processed. So you can go check that video out. I'll be back next week because I have to make more of these videos. I need to help you guys, 1,000 of you. I want to do it. Check out the links below. Like I said, the community is still on special. Get in there. Come talk to me. Let's get your mind straight, like your mindset straightened out so that you can do what you need to do and keep yourself healthy forever. And I will talk to you all next week. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Every wellness warrior. I hope that you have a great time. Talk to you soon.